Hi, friends. I feel so nervous to record this episode, if that tells you much, and yet feel so inspired at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing very safely and, sacredly, some really beautiful, unique experiences that I've been able to have as I've been working with clients, but not just any experiences. I'm specifically delving into spiritual experiences that I've had. And when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about religious. I'm talking about spirits. I'm talking about visits from people's ancestors. I'm going to be talking about times where I've heard things come into my ears or my mind from guides and things of that nature. So if you love and seek to be close to spirit, and you really think this is an important part of the work that you want to be doing, I hope you really enjoy this. I hope it's inspiring. I hope it serves as a reminder of how close and connected we all are, even to those who have passed on. And yes, they do still have an interest in what you're going through and experiencing, and they do care, and they are here to guide you. And sometimes, as a coach and as a guide for women, I get to be a witness to that, and it's magical. So let's dive in.
Welcome to the Postpartum Coach podcast, where we embrace our needs as moms. We learn to lead ourselves first, then our families, and where we create our own healing from the inside out to find our way to the work we were meant to do in this world. I'm your host, a fellow mom of 3 and a certified life coach, Lizzie Langston.
Hi, beauties. I met with a psychic not that long ago. I mentioned it on Instagram. Her name's Brenda. She's incredible and awesome. I don't actually know her that well, but for that kind of work, you didn't need to. And I tell you this because I thought it was interesting. She was kind of just reading my general energy before diving into any past, present, future type of things. And she was just commenting on what a private person I am. And I've always actually struggled with that because I'm a business owner. And the world is quick and fast. And in the world of business, for example, which is actually such a diverse realm, there's so many ways to do business and stuff. But when I first got into it, I was kind of pulled into this circle of mentors that was very big on social media and Instagram and being consistent. And so I did that for a couple years, just really working the Instagram scene and just like specifically trying to be present there. And the truth is that I'm actually really private, and it's hard for me to want to get into my stories all the time, especially like right now I'm growing a baby. There's a lot going on with my beautiful family that is private. Like, it's not like it's bad or confidential or anything. It's just private. It's not stuff I want on the internet, and it's really, really beautiful, and I want to be present with it. And so I've always struggled to share parts of me that feel private. However, this information just feels like it needs to come out tonight. I was watching a YouTube video by one of my favorite psychic mediums who I really look up to, and she's kind of mentoring me without really noticing or knowing it because she doesn't know me, but her name's Rebecca Rosen. I found her through Gabby Bernstein's podcast, Dear Gabby. So that's a really great podcast if you're like a spiritual junkie like I am. Rebecca Rosen and Gabby are friends. And anyway, I was listening to some stuff about, the afterlife. And I don't know if that's weird for you guys. To me, it doesn't scare me. I actually think I have a lot of gifts and abilities in that realm. In fact, I know I do based on experiences I've had. And so it just feels comforting to me to actually be around other people who have had really profound spiritual experiences as well, because nobody in my immediate circle of friends or family really can relate, I think, super clearly. I mean, I could be wrong about that. And I'm really, really, really closed about it. I don't open up a lot about it. A lot of people get kind of weirded out. Some people even feel spiritually threatened, like that it's going to compete with or take away from their light and truth. It's very, very interesting. So I don't talk about this stuff a lot, but tonight, I did feel really inspired to kind of share some beautiful experiences that have unfolded in the sessions that I've had. And even as I'm talking, my third eye is warming up, which I'm feeling heat, between my brow, which just means that there's guidance here and there's confirmation that this is stuff that it's time to be shared. So I'm just going to go through, I have a little bullet point list, which I made with so much love. And by the way, I'm going to be probably getting ads in the future on this podcast. And I'm really excited because I love listening to ads when I'm listening to other people's podcasts because, the ads that I listen to, the podcasts I listen to, they always are super connected to their audience and they always keep the advertisements very, very relevant. And I just want you to know that if you ever hear ads on here, just know in the future, or in the present, I don't know, because they're going to probably go back and add ads to my old episodes as well. Just know that my intention with them is always, always, always to serve you. It is not to, chew your ear off with random information and be annoying. I hate annoying, useless advertising. Advertising, though, can be a blessing and bring people closer to what they're already needing and wanting. And if you're recommending it, having used it, there's the trust factor and it's so nice. It's kind of like when your friends on Facebook all recommend the same foot doctor. You're like, all right, done. It's done. I'm just going to go see that doctor. There's no question. So I hope my ads feel like that to you, to some degree, if they ever get on this podcast. Okay. So I just made a beautiful little list of some really beautiful memories that I have from the years that I've been coaching. I've been coaching for about 4 years, and sometimes that sounds like so much. And then other times I get around providers who have been in this space for 40 plus years. Literally, they have gray hair and they've been coaching and doing therapy and doing yoga and all the things longer than I've been alive. And it's really humbling. So it just depends on how you look at it. But for me, 4 years has been filled with a lot of sessions with women who are postpartum, almost entirely and exclusively. So for about 9 months, I did also provide coaching for entrepreneurs because I was just really loving business and it was a really fun little outlet to express for a while. But eventually I did kind of hone back in on postpartum women because I know that it is my soul's calling to serve postpartum women. I know it like the back of my hand. I know that this is a job I will never retire from. It's like a soul calling. So I really feel grateful to be here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing a few things with you that have happened. My clients, by the way, you know who you are, both past, present, and future. And I want you to just remember that I remember and know each of you, and I love you, and I appreciate your business. I appreciate, even more than your business, just your trust and your vulnerability. It is seriously the privilege of my lifetime. And I hope you know that you go on my VIP list. You are just amazing, excellent souls. And I'm so glad that I got to help tutor your soul in this existence. So the first and probably the most exciting or just special experience that I had is actually, it was on a consult. It was on a consultation. So this girl was not my client yet. This girl probably listens to this podcast. Maybe she does. And she probably knows who she is. Cause she then became a client and we worked together for a long time. And we actually knew each other in college before she came and hired me, or did the consult with me. Okay. So we're on this consult and we spent the first few minutes just catching up because we knew each other in college. And so we're like, oh my gosh, well, really quick before we dive in, tell me where you live, how many years have you been married now? We were both married at the time that we knew each other in college, but pretty newly married. And so we both had a few kids by now. It was really fun to catch up. Obviously, she'd had some kids if she was thinking of hiring me as the postpartum coach. So it was a real privilege anyway to meet with her. And so then we kind of dive into more of what's not working for her and really what her vision is for where she's wanting to go and the struggles and pain points. And she's talking and I just feel her mom, but the thing is, I don't know this. I mean, we knew each other in college, but I don't know anything really about her personal life other than that she's married and has some kids. Right. And so I don't say anything at first and she keeps talking, and specifically, she's talking about her mom. Actually, she begins talking about her mom. And she didn't tell me yet, she hadn't told me yet that her mom had actually passed away from cancer. I didn't know that. So I'm listening to her talking about her relationship with her mom, which, by the way, when people pass away, we still have a relationship with them because we have thoughts about them and we have feelings towards them. So even though their physical status has changed, there's still a relationship, right? Forever. And it continues to change. And sometimes when people pass away, it actually is really freeing and beautiful to be able to heal the relationship in a way that maybe couldn't have happened when they were alive. And so she was just talking about like how much she loved her mom and also how difficult that relationship was or is, or I don't know. Anyway, and at this point, I just start feeling her mom a lot. And I mentioned to her that I just feel like her mom is with us and that she is like cheering this person on in her journey, not necessarily hiring me. I kind of left that out of it because that would feel, I was really nervous. I didn't want to feel manipulative in sharing what was spiritually coming through for me. I didn't want her to think I was trying to like capitalize on her vulnerabilities and make her hire me. But I just shared what I was feeling about her mom coming through and just her mom being so supportive of her journey. And what I've learned since this experience is that people who left our lives, who have passed on, who impacted us in ways that were painful and negative, so, even if that wasn't all of the impact they left, if that was part of their legacy, they have a real vested interest in us healing. They don't want to just move on and be like, oh, well, sorry, I did the best I could. They often come back to us, whether for a time or for a long time, as guides, and they tutor us and they help us along. They do, especially when we're at a crossroads. So here's this potential client, right, at the time, at a crossroads, really seriously thinking about, and she's just using me as a sounding board in the consult, essentially. She hadn't even, we weren't even talking about the decision to hire me yet. She was just sharing with me, her journey from childhood to this point and what she feels like she's craving in her life and how she doesn't feel like she has it yet and whatever. And I just really did feel her mom was there, like cheering her on, like cheerleader status. Rebecca Rosen, this medium who's been really honestly pretty full-time meeting with deceased persons on behalf of living persons and relaying messages from spirit. I know that sounds so weird to say deceased persons. I'll just say spirit, okay? Spirit guides for people. Anyway, in a very reliable, down-to-earth way. She's incredible. And she has since said that there are different levels of spiritual guides. And the first, most informal level is sort of just like a cheerleader. So it's somebody who might still be working on their own healing, and they might not be qualified to necessarily be guiding you, but they stay close or they come close for certain times, and they are essentially a cheerleader. And that is exactly what I felt like this was, except at the time I didn't know about the hierarchy of spiritual guides. But so how cool is that, right? Like this person's mom showed up on her consultation because like this isn't just coaching. These are people's lives and these are people's journeys, right? I want you to think about that. It's not just, oh, should I hire this coach? That's not actually the thing you're deciding on a consult with me, at least, because I'm very spiritual. So when you're on a consult with me, I'm not even thinking about if you're going to hire me or not. Okay, well, I am human and I do have like thoughts sometimes like, oh, okay, I wonder if this is going to work out, or, oh my gosh, I'd really love to work with this person. But I have worked really in a disciplined way to quiet that part of my mind, like the observer part, and to really just be present with my clients. But again, the focus for me on a consult is getting a feel of your energy, where you're at. I mean, first of all, I always make sure I can actually help you, that your problem suits my skill set and also my desire of what I want to be helping people with. But beyond that, before I start talking about like how I could help you and here's what I offer, I'm really gauging where you're at in your spiritual awakening and development and growth. Because ultimately, I believe that everything we're experiencing, even if it has a medical side to it, is part of, a handful of lessons that we're here to learn on this earth. And that I believe, this is just my personal belief, okay? You don't have to believe this. And I don't want it to throw you off if you have a conceptualization of God, in heaven, and that you are not God and that there is a God and they're separate and it's in heaven, whatever. Like, I just want you to know that I believe that to some degree we created or signed off on and said yes to the challenges and the experiences that we would have here. on this earth, in earth school, as Rebecca Rosen calls it. Okay. And so I'm always looking for, how are you approaching your school lessons and how can I help with that? What would my role be as the guide in this season of your life? Because I don't work with my clients forever. I mean, there's a couple that have stuck around for like a couple years, but typically it's just like 6 months or less. And then they kind of move on and they've learned what they needed to and they've blossomed and it's so beautiful. Okay, moving on. So that was the first experience, was the mama coming to visit and cheerleading and approving of, just really, I just felt like she was so proud of her daughter for the work that she was doing. And it definitely wasn't my own thoughts, right? It was very maternal and it was very like, I was just sitting there listening and then I could feel it through I don't know even how to explain it. I just sense it. Sometimes it's through my heart. Sometimes it's through my third eye, but it's usually like right behind my shoulders. It's where I feel it. Like, it's strange. Anyway, it's really cool. Okay. So another cool thing that's happened in sessions is my body. This is a thing, by the way. I learned about it when I was studying energy work. And then once I learned about it, I was able to actually experience it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is the thing. It's so cool. But my body will sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but occasionally if it's necessary or really in the highest interest or useful or whatever, I don't consciously do it, but my body will feel what my client is feeling in their body. And I've gotten curious about why this happens because randomly I'll just start having a sensation while my client is talking. And sometimes I'll muscle test and just ask, like, is this mine or is this theirs if I feel confused? But often I'll just be like, do you feel a pain in your arm or are you feeling some lower back, whatever, especially if it comes on really spur of the moment. And this honestly hasn't happened for a while. It's not something, like I said, that's common, or even every day or anything like that. But it has happened a handful of times where my body will take on the sensation of their body, especially if I'm very connected to this client. And if we've been working together for many sessions, or there's just if my client's very trusting and open and there's not a lot of inhibition, this type of connection can happen where, like I said, my body will feel what she's feeling. And like I said, I've gotten curious about why this happens. And I do think that it is like her subconscious sends this to my client's not consciously doing this. Okay. Her highest consciousness and subconscious is sending it to my subconscious. And through this amazing connection that all humans have with our auras, it doesn't matter if you're sitting on Zoom with someone, I'm able to tap into her energetic realm and have just a dip into what she's experiencing. And usually it helps her get back into her body. That's usually what the purpose has been, which is really beautiful because that's actually what I'm probably the most passionate about in all of the different trainings and all the different tools I have. My favorite thing and the number one part of my process, the first step, like the thing I focus on more than anything really, is calm your body, get into your body, stop dissociating, reclaim this beautiful vessel that you might have gotten scared out of since childhood, or that might be so full of trauma and pain that you're not really in it very often. You're not really with your body very often. You're not really connected to it. I love bringing women back to their bodies. And I love watching the way they awaken. Oh my gosh, this could be like a 2-part series. There's so many things I want to say. All right, so that's another thing that happens. Let's go to the next one. Sometimes I have felt like a whisper in my ear, but it's weird because I have felt it. Notice how I said I feel it, I don't hear it. And again, I'm not trying to be weird here. I'm not trying to be fearful. I'm not trying to conjure up like, ooh, that's creepy. We have been taught to be afraid. But in reality, we're all just so guided. We're so guided all the time. There are light beings all the time who care about you, who care about me, and who definitely care about the sessions and how they're going with clients, apparently, because I've had, these interesting experiences. So, I'll have a whisper of what to do in the next session. And there is things like my intuition and enlightenment and stuff like that. But then there are other times where it definitely feels like it comes in and it goes out. Like it's like a presence brings it to me kind of a thing. It's kind of cool. So, another thing that kind of happens is I'll lock onto something someone says, like I will just know in my body. So let's say they're saying let's say they say 20 sentences. They're like telling me a story or they're talking about their life and they say 20 different sentences. I might lock in on sentence 3 and I won't be able to get it out of my mind. And I will just wait patiently till they finish. And then I will go right back to the thing they said. And I'm really sharp. Like sometimes I'll be like, what did you say? What was it? And I'll be able to remember part of it. But often I can just like, you just said da 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 da. Even if it was like a couple minutes ago when they were talking. Sometimes occasionally I'll feel this urgency, like I need to kind of slow them down and interrupt them. And we need to go into this. Usually that's only if where they're going next with the conversation is actually taking them farther from this one point that I'm feeling is really, really important and resonating. So basically, I'm really a rude coach and I interrupt my clients. It's fine. No. Let's see. Okay. Another thing I've had happen is, so I have my clients, usually they're with me in sessions, obviously each week, but then we have remote coaching through an app called Voxer. You guys have maybe heard me talk about this. It's just like basically a walkie-talkie. You can leave voice messages. And if the person's there in real time, they can get it in real time. But if they're not, it just saves it for when they come check the app. So it's a great way to communicate. You can also do written messages or the talking, right? So, and I love it because if you upgrade to Pro, you can transcribe messages. So if you get a voice message from me that you really love in Voxer, you can actually go press transcribe and see it in written form and then keep it. You know what I mean? Which is kind of cool. That's actually where I get a lot of my Instagram material, is just through my coaching of my clients. I say really great things to my clients, like profound stuff that just kind of comes through me. And then I'm like, oh, that was good. And so I transcribe it and then I just throw it online. Not always, but sometimes. Okay. Anyway, so in the remote coaching, in between sessions, sometimes I will, again, it's just a sometimes thing. It's not like all the time. But sometimes I will have a hit of intuition. So for example, I have a client who knows who she is. I don't know if she'll be listening to this or not, but, she's so great. And she and I were coaching together at this time. And so we had just had a session maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and we still had a couple more days to go until we had another session. But I really actually felt, to be honest, that like looking back, I do feel like there was a guide that is her guide that was telling me that she had something big going on. Not necessarily to talk to me about, but there was something big going on for her. And so naturally, because this is actually a friend from like middle school that ended up hiring me later on in life. And naturally, I wanted to check in when I learned this information from this guide that was talking to me. So I went ahead and Voxer texted her and just was like, hey, I don't even remember. Hold on, let me look up what I said. Maybe this would be fun. Okay. I'm a just nerdy, geeky lady. Okay, so I just went back into our Voxer chat. I'm keeping details anonymous, okay? Like personal sensitive details, but this is what I messaged her on March 12th, 2022. No, sorry, 2023. At 8:21 p.m. I said, "Are you wrestling with something? How's your evening going?" And then she sent a bunch of the magic little, like the magic balls, like one of those witches balls or something that are in the emojis. She goes, "How did you know?" And I said, "To be honest, I just heard a voice in my mind." And then I said, "It happens often when I'm really deeply connected to clients." And then I was like, and then she naturally just was curious and wanted to know what the voice said. And I said, what it actually said is not wrestling. It said, insert client's name, is birthing something. Like she's working through something. She's chewing on it. That was the vibe. It's not usually about the words. It's about the feeling when I get this guidance. And so anyway, and they had actually just put an offer in on a house, which literally no idea. In our last session, she'd not alluded to the fact that they were even looking for houses. So this came out of left field, as far as my life updates with her. But it was cool because for whatever reason, somebody thought it would be a good idea for her to be able to let me know this. And then she was able to process about the stress of the back and forth and how other offers had come in. And I don't know. I don't know why I was given that information, but it was a really precious bonding experience for the two of us. So if nothing else, it led to us feeling really close in our coaching relationship as well, which is really important and special. And also just kind of reaffirmed that there are people who are watching out for her on the other side and are guiding and caring about, what she's doing and stuff. So it's so cool. So I think that's all I want to share for today, but it has been so riveting and just delightful, I guess, to walk down memory lane and collect a few little memories of things that have happened over the years and share them with you. And I hope that if nothing else, this episode helps you remember just how guided you really are. And I don't mean that in a creepy way. By the way, the first thing that goes through my head when I think about how spirit guides guiding me or whatever is can they see me naked in the shower? Do they watch me poop? That's where my brain goes. And I want you to know that Rebecca Rosen, who has connected with so many people who have passed on behalf of their loved ones here that are still living and going through stuff, her answer is no, because we are made of much more dense energy than they are in their spirit form. Our bodies, our bones, our blood, all that is a lot lower frequency energy than what they're operating from, which is one of the reasons that you have to kind of be a really clear vessel and in high energy to kind of get some of these messages. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have your full-time job be being a medium, how you would need to eat and drink and just keep your body at a pace where it can be in and out of spirit energy all day, because spirit energy is so high frequency. I'm sure that's a lot for people who do that all the time. It's incredible. And I feel honored that I've been able to have these cool experiences. But yeah, basically, no, they're not seeing us the way we see each other. That's what she said. I quote that loosely, not exact quote, but that's from her book, Spirited. Okay. So I will put her couple favorite books of mine. I haven't actually read What's Your Heaven, which is one that she talks a lot about all this in. And then I am reading Spirited, and I will just go ahead and put those in the show notes as a thank you to her for her amazing work in the world. If you're interested in grabbing one of those books, I'll put the Amazon links in the show notes. It has been such a pleasure sharing these things with you. I want you to know that while I am currently pregnant and will be having a baby this summer, I am open to clients. And if you want to work with me and you're interested, don't worry, I can support you and take care of you. And there will be some boundaries around my maternity leave, so just expect that. But especially the remote coaching, and then more than anything, where I recommend you start, if you like me and you want to get to know my philosophy, and honestly, you just want to be bathed in more of my energy, which would be such a compliment. If you believe that my energy and my spark and what I teach could help you, just go to LizzieLangston.com/course and check out and read up on my postpartum freedom course. Because that is the course that basically, as I was preparing to be gone for a few weeks over the summer having the baby, and I thought about how can I support people without being available to them for a time, I created this course. And it's amazing. It's kind of my life's work over not just the 4 years I've been coaching, but the 5 years before that. So a total of almost 10 years now, where I was in the trenches with my own mental health issues and having 3 kids in 4 years, all that experience, and then the blossoming and the growing out of that and learning how to navigate it, and then getting even better at navigating it, and then coaching a lot of clients and getting better at helping them do it, and then realizing there was a specific process. It's all distilled down into my 3-step process: calm your body, calm your mind, calm your life. And there's a few other things sprinkled in there too. And it's all in the course, the online course, Postpartum Freedom. I think it says the postpartum anxiety course still at the top of the page. I need to change that, but that's what it used to be called. It's called Postpartum Freedom. So again, it's just LizzieLangston.com/course. I would start with that. And then if you love it and it helps you and you want more, you can always reach out to me either for just remote coaching support on Voxer in addition to the course, or actual private coaching package where you do some sessions and we get in and do some work and I help you. So no matter what, I can help you. Okay. LizzieLangston.com/course. Thank you for being here. If you guys love me, if you have fallen in love with me. No, I'm just kidding. I actually told somebody I just interviewed on my podcast, I'm like, I have fallen in love with your energy and your goodness. Like, I hope I didn't weird her out, but if you really appreciate these episodes, the best thing you could do is just leave me a review on iTunes, a written review. You can click the stars, but I would prefer if you put in some words because I read them all and they mean a lot to me. And other women that are looking, deciding, should I spend my time on this random podcast that I just found? They're going to go straight to the reviews, my friends, and they're going to see how highly it's reviewed. And they're going to read 2 or 3 before they spend the time to get on and listen to me and get to know me. And if you believe that that would be a good thing for them, then please do leave me a review. Okay. That would help the podcast so much. Thank you very much. I love you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Hey, Lizzie here. I've helped dozens of postpartum moms just like you to manage their postpartum anxiety and deconstruct their postpartum depression. It's really easy for me. So if you're ready to feel better, I know the way. Let's chat on the phone. Set up a time by going to LizzieLangston.com/consult. It's pretty simple, and I will be calling you soon.